And I think we are live for the first time since the end of November 2022, and it's the end of January in 2023. Hello everyone, and welcome to the return of the GT7 League Series 1, round number 9 for the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. Qualifying is done and dusted. Let's move into the starting grid for today's race. Lining up on pole position is Bonevil, not for the first time this season. Can he convert it into his first win? We'll have to wait and see. And alongside on the front row, Dan Schneider in the Mercedes lines up second place on the grid. In third, Piero in the McLaren starts alongside Toussaint in his Mercedes. A few special liveries for this race. The BCR car is one running a special livery. We've got Finn and Costa. Costa making his return for the league after his injury mid-season, starting sixth. Trying to work it out first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. In seventh is myself in the BMW, but I will be referring to myself in the third person throughout the race just to make the stream flow a little bit better. In eighth place, we've got Cameron Kaboom in the Porsche, and alongside him is Tiger Assassin in ninth place. No, that's a mistake. Tiger Assassin in ninth place. And alongside Ted in the Subaru, that's more like it, starting in 10th place. In 11th, we've got Wolfie in the Subaru, alongside Yeah Right, making his Gavra Racing debut in 11th place, and the Scout Dad in the Mercedes at the back of the grid in 12th place. We'll be trying to make up a few positions. Down in towards turn one, it's not a long run, in towards turn one, the distance from pole position is only about 200 metres. Pole obviously is on the right hand side of the track as we make our way back through the grid one last time. Let's get into some few track facts before we get this race underway. Hello, welcome everyone joining us in the chat. Hope you're all having a great day to get this GT7 race underway. It's been so long since we've been racing in this league because of the unstable servers that have been as of late. But Polyphony got their act together. They have fixed the servers. Well, the servers are now usable as opposed to what they were before. But 4.3 kilometers is a total track length or a lap of this track. And we should be seeing lap times between the 1 minute 30s, the 1 minute 32s, maybe 33s, dependent on the tyre situation. For those new to the season, we've got 3 rounds left: Interlagos, Watkins Glen and Daytona. Tyre wears ×5. Fuel is on ×2. And you have to use 2 different compounds of tyre throughout the race. Let's get out of photo mode and into this race. We can click start on the replay to get this race underway. Well, Bonevil starts on pole position. Can he convert it into his first win of the season? We'll have to wait and see. All 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's a good start from Piero, an even better one for Dan Schneider. Piero in the middle for the McLaren, getting a good start, trying to field his way through the middle between Dan Schneider and Bonevil as the Dutchman takes the lead of the race. They're 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. Contact and spins on the inside of Toussaint and the Mercedes. The 2 FTR Mustangs going side by side to the long swooping left-hander of turn 3 as the cars now travel down towards turn 4. They're 3 wide with Tiger and an FTR sandwich to Mercedes in between the 2 Mustangs. Costa on the inside. Can he get ahead of Tiger Assassin, who swoops around the outside and through the middle of both of them goes Toussaint. Tiger now for the 5th place after starting 9th as Nat and Cameron Kaboom going side by side. The Mustang and the Mercedes still going wheel to wheel up the hill in towards turn 6 and 7. Piero in between Tiger Assassin and now Finn. He's got a little bit deep, wide. Cameron Kaboom now to the inside of Piero, becomes to the outside for turn 9. Can he swoop his way around the outside? Not on this occasion. Piero keeps 6th position, going defensive as the Porsche tries to work its way around the outside of the pink and purple McLaren, but the Frenchman, who maintains 6th position for now, and a good start from Dan Schneider, jumps ahead of the Genesis. Bonevil drops down to 2nd place. Your championship leader Toussaint in 3rd, ahead of Costa in 4th, and Tiger Assassin in 5th, with Piero right behind him in 6th place. I need to turn down the volume on my headset because it is really loud and unmanageable. There we go. But it's Dan Schneider leading the field away. The action kicking off in the midfield with the top 13 getting away fairly cleanly. I think he needs to enter the back between Wright and Wolfbeast, cause them to drop off the back of the midfield. But Bon Evil chasing down Dan Schneider after starting this race on pole position. That 2 of 35 for Genesis, with a good run on the Mercedes going in towards turn 4, but not close enough to make a move on this occasion. Action in the midfield. Pierre a little bit unstable in the braking zone of turn 4, but he's got the McLaren slowed down nicely, with Natty in the BMW just closing up the rear of the top 9. Ted with a half-second penalty in 10th place, just dropping off the pack a little bit. He's got Dan for company in 11th place right behind him. Darren Schneider with Bon Evil right behind him, trying to take the lead of the race away from the Dutchman, but it is the BWT Mercedes who's maintained the lead after getting it down towards the centre edges on the opening lap. You can see on board with the rear wing of the Genesis is gaining and taking up a lot of pixels in the screen. Meanwhile, Tiger defending from Costa, who's trying to get the move done up into 4th place as the Mustang looks quite racy with both drivers in 5th and 7th place. Costa ahead of his teammate. Can he finish ahead of his teammate for the first time this season? Finn now down to 8th place. Natty chasing in the BMW. All drivers, I believe, in the opening stint starting on the medium compound tyres as going in towards turn 1. Dan leads the field on lap 3 of 35. Bon Evil not close enough to go for a move in towards turn 1. Anyone close enough in the midfield? Maybe Costa on Tiger Assassin, maybe Piero on Costa going in towards turn 1. The Frenchman had a look, a little bit of contact between the two cars. The Mustang ahead of the McLaren for now, but if Piero can get a good run, maybe tucks into the slipstream of the Mustang and might look for a move down in towards turn 4. It's gaining and gaining, pulls over to the left-hand side of the track, but can he go for it? Late on the brakes, to the inside, not on this occasion. Costa's able to sweep around the outside and get a really nice run as here goes Cameron Cabrini now up the hill in towards turn 6, swooping around the outside. Oh, Piero, can he make this move stick? And it's a good move from Cameron Cabrini up into 6th place. Piero's going to have the inside line for turn 7. He sends it on the inside. These two still going side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel between the Porsche and the McLaren. Piero going a little bit wide, allowing Finn to walk through the open door on the inside, but he couldn't quite make that move stick. Can Piero maybe try something in towards the right-hander of turn 10 before they go in towards the final couple of corners? 15 corners makes up this track, and we've got 35 laps of racing action to go. 32 laps of racing action to go. 35 laps of action in total. Bon Evil still chasing Dan Schneider for the lead of the race. Two Saints sticking with them about a second and a half, separating second and third in this race. Tiger Assassin leading the midfield train in 4th place as they come across the start-finish line and start-finish straight to start. Lap 4 of 35. As Cameron Cabrini looking for a move, Piero looking for a move on Finn. Is that Finn looking for a move on Cameron Cabrini, on Piero to the inside for turn 2. Finn up into 7th place and ahead of Piero. Here comes ex-Natty G in the BMW looking to try and get ahead of the McLaren with the straight line speed that the BMW possesses. It's not the quickest on the grid, but it's probably about average, as you can see just in front. Costa gaining the position on Tiger Assassin, who now goes up into 5th place, and the Mercedes drops down to 5th with its windscreen wipers in full action. Cameron Cabrini trying to get ahead of the Mercedes up the hill, the right-hander of turn 6 that leads in towards turn 7. Tiger not able to go for a move on this occasion. Looked like a little bit of contact between Cameron Cabrini in the back of the Mercedes as it tries to find a way to the inside. These two now going side by side, but Tiger with the drive on the outside is able to get up and maintain 5th position as he now tries to hunt Costa after he got the position the previous lap. Finn ahead of Piero up into 7th place, made the move down in towards turn 2 at the top of these 6 cars from 9th to 4th, really sticking with each other. As Dan Schneider still has Bon Evil close to company. It looks like two Saints staying with them, just about, maybe about a second and a half between those guys, but it's Costa in the Mustang. Tiger now under pressure from Cameron Cabrini in the Porsche down the start-finish straight, side by side between these two drivers, two British drivers, now going in towards turn 1. Cameron on the inside becomes the outside for turn 2. Tiger still with his bumper, a little bit of contact made at the apex. Cameron's off the curve, on the curb and onto the AstroTurf through turn 3. Finn now side by side with the Porsche. Was lucky enough to get a corner cutting penalty. Is Costa for the move? Is Finn going to go for it on the inside? He's having a look. Not on this occasion. Maybe Piero might try something round the outside of the Mustang. Here goes Natty now, maybe looking for a move on Piero, but not on this occasion. He can't find his way through the field, just sits in his starting position of 9th place for now, as these 6 drivers from 4th to 9th really going at it, as the top 2, Bon Evil and Dan Schneider, pulling away from the mid-pack with the squabbling that's happening behind, and probably not aware of it, focusing on their own race, but I'm sure they'll be delighted if someone told them that these guys are losing time to the leaders. Speaking of, looks like Two Saints made a little bit of a mistake somewhere. He's lost time to the leaders. He's got Costa now a couple of seconds behind him as they go through the final proper corner. Turn 12 out of 15. Tiger under a lot of pressure from quite a few cars behind them. The first one is Cameron Kaboom in the Porsche, who's going to try and find a way, find a gap on the left-hand side to the inside for turn 1, but it's Tiger Assassin with the Mercedes straight line speed advantage over the Porsche, who keeps 5th place for now, but for how much longer as the Porsche pulls alongside. They're 3 wide, going in towards turn 1. Finn backs out of it, but Cameron Kaboom's gone wide. He's gone deep onto the grass, down it towards turn 1. He needs to be careful when rejoining the circuit. Piero gets ahead and just comes out ahead of X-Strategy in the BMW, who's now going side by side with the Porsche. A battle for 8th place between the 2 German manufactured cars, and the BMW gets ahead side by side down towards turn 4 with the inside line. Natty gets ahead of Cameron Kaboom in a mistake that's cost him not 1, not 2, but 3 positions from 6th to 9th, and now has some work to do to get his way back through the field. Meanwhile, the gap between Costa and Tigers looks like it's just about growing a little bit, a couple of tenths per lap with the battling that's going on behind. Consistent lap times from the top 2, all in the mid 1 minute 30s, as Dan Schneider has the fastest lap of the race and will get a bonus point if he can keep it by the end of the race, but still leads this race after getting the move done on Bon Evil on the opening lap. Tiger just dropping off the back of Costa as he has Finn for company behind in 6th place. Piero keeping up with these 2 as well. Natty with Cameron Kaboom closely behind, and a good run from the Porsche through the final corner of turn 12, the final proper corner. Meanwhile, going through turn 13, 14, now 15. Here it's Interlagos. Cameron Kaboom now with the inside line. Caught catching the BMW. Nappy slightly not defending the inside line. Maybe Natty not trying to fight this one all too much, as Cameron Kaboom with the inside line gets the move done up into 8th place. Finn will be looking to try and get the move done on Tiger Assassin, who ride on board in the cockpit of the Ford Mustang in the slipstream and gaining down the straight on the Mercedes. He's going to send one to the inside. Brakes earlier than the Mercedes. Backs out of it in the end. Meanwhile, Natty lays on the brakes to the outside. Can he try work his way back up into 8th place? These 2 have lost a little bit of time to Piero, who's in 7th place. You can see the time that they've lost battling for that position. But Cameron Kaboom will maintain the advantage for now. He's left the door slightly open on the inside for the BMW to slip through side by side up the hill in towards turn 7. But Cameron Kaboom is able to keep and maintain the position. The medium compound tyre starting to go off after 7 racing laps. You can just see the tyre wear as Finn nearly pushing Tiger through turn 10. That's how close these cars are running in the midfield. Meanwhile, Bon Evil with that same 6-7 tenth deficit to the race leader, Dan Schneider, the Dutchman taking his first win of the season in Dragon Trail Seaside. I don't know where the word down came from in all that. But Costa now under pressure from Tiger. Tiger's done well to claw the gap back to a couple of tenths of a second. So here goes his teammate Finn to the inside of the Mercedes side by side in towards turn 1. Looks like Finn's just backed out of it slightly. Tiger with the inside for turn 2. Gets there, will maintain 5th place, but he could be under pressure from the Mustang behind with a good run from Finn. Could see him claw a position up into 5th place and just behind his teammate. Having said that, Tiger now looking for a move on the inside of Costa down towards turn 4. Costa's left the door open, he's blown slightly wide. Tiger now to the inside at turn 5, side by side with the Mercedes and the Mustang. Up the hill they go, approaching the middle sector, with Tiger Assassin trying to go round the outside of one of his rivals in this race. The Swiss driver Costa making his return to the league after his injury, putting up a great defence to the British driver behind. Finn trying to find a way through on the Mercedes, cuts back to the inside Tiger with a nice wider line. They will get a good run on the exit of 9 in towards the right-hander of 10, but Finn's still there on the inside, just about backs opposite. Piero on the back of this train as well in the McLaren will be hungry to gain a few positions in this race. Piero's last podium, and only podium of the season so far, was Catalunya at round 2. We're now at round 9, and I'm sure he'll want to break the drought of not finishing on the podium this season. The same for Tiger Saturn. His last podium was in Catalunya this season. Third place for him, second for Piero. The battle for fourth place though in this particular race. Costa defensive to the inside, the left hand side of the circuit, 3 wide in towards turn 1. The two SGR teammates sandwiching the Mercedes. Finn making a little bit of contact with the rear of the Mercedes on the exit of entry of turn 2, but it's not the first time that they've been 3 wide in this race, and they have still survived in this race. It's absolutely incredible racing. Tiger defensive to the inside. Finn's going to try and work something around the outside. Pierre's going to try and follow Tiger through on the inside. Now side by side with the Mustang, the Frenchman and the German in the battle for 6th position, going through turn 6 or approaching turn 6 up the hill. Tiger not side by side with anyone on this lap. It's Finn's turn to now try and defend from Piero, who's trying to go around the outside with a switchback inside for turn 7. Door's not quite left open, although Tiger's ran wide and opened the door to Finn, who couldn't quite find a way through. Piero now to the inside of the German, now up into 6th place as they go side by side through the middle sector. Finn late on the brakes to the inside of the McLaren, and it's got the nuke done back up into 6th place. This is incredible racing, and we're only 9 laps into this race. This is a great battle in the midfield. Tiger sideways on the exit of turn 11. That's going to put him under pressure from Finn, who's got a good run through the final corner. Up the hill they go, in towards the start-finish straight. And a massive moment for Tiger Saturn. And trust me, not the only driver to do that this race. Side by side across the line, Finn and Tiger, the Mercedes and the Mustang cannot be separated in this race as camera booms into the pits off the medium. Finn up into 6th place, getting ahead of Tiger, but for how much longer? Because that Mercedes, it's not too bad in a straight line, and it's got a good run through the centre S's in the slipstream of the Mustang. Piero looking hungry behind, Tiger looking racy in front, and he finds the move, not quite on this occasion. Wasn't close enough to go for anything on the inside or out. Meanwhile, Bonneville has taken the lead of the race from Dan Schneider. Apologies for missing that battle, just got so caught up in the battle for 5th place in the midfield. It's great racing between these sets of drivers. Lap 10 of 35, it's the scheduled pit window for the 2 or the 3 stop in this race. The strategy of choice for the majority, well, the most popular 2 strategies for this race have been the medium hard, or the medium, or an aggressive 3 stop using 3 mediums and 1 soft. 3 mediums and 1 soft. Bonneville's into the pits. Dan Schneider continues. It's an undercut attempt from Bonneville. Is it a 2 stop or a 3 stop? We'll have to wait and see. Toussaint stays out. Costa's into the pits. Finn's into the pits. Tiger Saturn stays out along with Piero. X-Strategy in the BMW's also into the pits. Ted in the Subaru stays out as well. So Dan Schneider now re-inherits the lead of the race with Bonneville into the pits from the medium tyres. We'll have to wait and see what the Genesis driver opts to select. Will it be mediums, hards or soft? Ted promoted up into 5th place, Piero up to 4th, and Tiger back up into the podium as things stand with drivers making their pit stop. Bonneville out onto a set of the hard compound tyres. Costa opting for mediums. Cameron Kaboom coming out through turn 1, 2 and 3 now. He pitted on the previous lap. Here goes Costa out into 8th place behind the air right. Crucially for Bonneville, he's left the pit lane ahead of the Porsche and has got lots of clean air in front of him. Cameron Kaboom in 9th, Finn down to 10th, and interestingly, X-Strategy losing a lot of time in the pit lane has put in a little bit more fuel, but look at the gap between 10th and 11th place in this race. You can see it on the map in the top right hand corner of the screen, but these two are pretty close together, not too far But between the two cars before the pit stop, somehow losing a little bit of time. Darren Snyder nearly with a puncture to the front right tyre, pulls into the pits. Toussaint follows him in with pretty much exactly the same tyre wear. As Tiger now ahead of Piero, or at least side by side nearly. But going into the pit lane, both of them, the top four, into the pits. And you can see who's looked after a little bit of fuel. Piero the McLaren just doing slightly better on the field as Ted stays out on lap 12, and Ted MC leads a racing lap in the Gavra Racing GT7 league. He's gone a little bit deep in towards turn 1, so deep that he's been off the camera shot. But it's the purple and blue Subaru that leads this race, and Ted will have one racing lap in the lead of the race to his name. Yeah, right, stays out as well on the medium compound tyres, up into third place. Look how well. Yeah, right, it's looked after his tyres. I mean, Ted stayed out for 12 laps, and he's nearly got a puncture on the front right. Look at Bomber's tyre wear. Well, Bomber's his nickname. Yeah, right, this is PSN. Toussaint and Pierre are going side by side. Pierre on the soft compound tyres, Toussaint on the hard. This might not be a battle that Toussaint can afford to fight because he's on the slower compound tyre, a much slower compound tyre. For Pierre's strategy to work, he needs to get ahead, and get ahead now. Tiger Assassin and Finn still going wheel to wheel. Finn on the mediums, Tiger opting for the hard compound tyre. So we've got all three different tyre compounds in use for this race. Tiger a little bit wide, Finn to the inside on the quicker, grippier compound tyre, gets the move done, up into 9th place. Piero still behind Toussaint, and he needs to get past if he's to make those soft tyres work. A step of oversteer on the exit of turn 10 might cost him the position to Darren Snyder, who's also opted for the soft compound tyres. So we've got mediums on the BMW, mediums on the Mustangs, hards on the Mercedes, and softs on the on Dan Snyder's car and Piero's McLaren. Going in towards turn 1, Toussaint under pressure from Piero, who's gaining. Car number 4 overtaking car number 27. Here comes Dan Snyder. They're going 3 wide in towards turn 1. It's a Mercedes sandwich for Piero. Dan Snyder killing 2 birds with 1 stone and gets the 2 moves done. Not quite actually, probably bit off a little bit too much there. No, he has done it. Piero's gone wide, and Darren Snyder is up into 6th place and has gained 2 positions in the space of a couple of corners. Piero getting ahead of Toussaint, who's lost 2 positions in 2 corners, but is on the slower, much slower, hard compound tyres with a different strategy to those in front. Bonneville opting for the hard compound tyres, with Costa now up into 3rd place. Ted still leads this race on lap 13 with a puncture to the front right, but yeah, right, was doing really well to look after his tyres. Stayed out for 13 laps on the medium, but it has Cameron Caboon for company close behind in 5th place. I think the Porsche might be about to gain a position in this race. Ted comes into the pits from the lead of the race. Bonneville will take back the lead that he once had before, but look at the difference where Dan Snyder is now compared to where Bonneville is. Bonneville's here, going in towards turn 1. Dan Snyder's just going through the pit entrance, and that is the 2 different strategies between hards and softs and different fuel levels. It's going to be close, and it's going to be interesting to see which strategy is the best. Yes, we've done a test race and not everyone was there for that, so strategy has been thrown up in the air for this week. Tyre wear at this circuit is quite high, one of the worst we've seen so far this season. Piero trying to put Dan Snyder under pressure. We've got Tiger down to 8th place behind Finn. BMW, the Brazilian themed BMW, in 9th place, but still keeping with the original design. As Ted now down to 10th place, after making this pit stop onto a set of medium compound tyres. Bonneville now under pressure from Costa. Tyre compound difference between the 2 cars, and this really does go to show the difference between the mediums and the hard compound tyres. Bonneville and Costa were nowhere near each other before the pit stops. Both have opted not to put in any fuel after the first stop. Through turn 13, 14 and 15 they go. Down the start-finish straight. Born Evil probably not going to defend this one too much as they make their way in towards turn 1. Costa on the left-hand side of the circuit gets the move done up into the lead of the race. Costa on his return is leading a lap here at the Brazilian Grand Prix on the medium compound tyres. It's still unclear what the strategy is for a lot of the drivers. It's too early to tell whether they're on a 2-stop or a 3-stop and what tyres they'll use if they're on a 2 or a 3-stop. Lap 15 of 35. The gap between Tiger and Natty coming down. Natty on the mediums, Tiger on the hards. He's staying also on the hards, running in 6th place. The championship leader, his last race win was the last race in Tokyo Expressway and has only failed to finish off on the podium once, and that was in Belgium, round number 5. Has a 32-point advantage going into this race over Finn, his nearest championship rival. 180 points compared to 148 for the two drivers running in 6th and 7th place. Got a little bit of a... We're at that phase in the race where all the different strategies kind of cancel each other out per se. Having said that, we've got Finn and Tuesday now very close to each other on track. Finn to the inside, it's the left hand side of the circuit, down towards turn 1, Finn on the medium, Tuesday on the hards. It's going to be an easy move for Finn, down the inside, late on the brakes, and the Mustang gets ahead of the Mercedes. Crucial for his championship fight to finish ahead of Tuesday, but someone who's also within range of winning this championship. Born Evil 99 in 4th place in the championship, 2nd place in the race, and with Atim not here for tonight's race, those will be gaining a lot of points around him in the championship. Tuesday will be now needs to do his best to try and keep within the slipstream of the Mustang whilst it's on the quicker medium compound tyres, whilst Tuesday's on the hard. Natty and the BMW, the Brazilian colours of red, yellow and green on the car. As he's got a good run through turn 5, in towards turn 7, late on the brakes, Natty gets the move done, up into 8th place. It's a brilliant move from myself, if I do say so. Gets the move done up into 8th place, but is on the quicker medium compound tyres. But like I was going to say, we're kind of at that phase in the race where we've got drivers at the back of the field on the slower hard compound tyres, not much overtaking, just due to the different tyre compounds being at different stages in the race. The soft runners have gone, the medium runners are kind of in the middle, the hard runners just can't really overtake because the hards, obviously the slowest compound of tyre, they take quite a while to get up into action. Speaking of action, we've got Piero and Cameron Kaboom fighting for 3rd place. The Frenchman now up into the podium positions, hasn't finished on the podium since Catalonia, remember, and is in a decent position to try it again tonight. Although the grid you might have 1 to 8 on the left hand side or 1 to 11 in total, but trust me, it's definitely probably not going to finish how it is or how it appears on the left, because we've still got different strategies to play with. We've got different drivers trying different things. Some may work, some might not. Only time will tell. Natty keeping back, Tiger's on the hard Finn. Still has 2 cents for company. Dan Schneider, Cameron Kaboom going side by side through the middle sector. The Mercedes ahead of the Porsche. Now on the soft compound tyres. So Dan Schneider sticking with Piero. And you can see that's the difference. Piero's got no fuel. Dan Schneider has 75% of fuel in the tank. He fueled up during the first pit stop, whereas I don't think Piero did. Nor did Bon Evil or the top 2. Which is why the difference between Bon Evil and Dan Schneider is so large, considering their gap at the start of the race. Although Dan Schneider has closed that gap and is nearly back up behind Bon Evil, who's on the hard compound tyres, Dan Schneider on the soft. So things are still going to be quite interesting. It's a huge snap from Natty, just about saves it on the exit of turn 6. Turn 11. You probably just about saw that. That was most of my race, sideways, facing the wall. There was one lap I was pretty much facing the wall on the inside. Down towards turn 3. Piero now up into second place on the soft compound tyres. It doesn't look like Bonnie brought that one too much down towards turn 1. On the hards against the soft, two very different tyre compounds. And yeah, the soft's much quicker than the hards, especially at this phase of the race. Although Dan Schneider, his soft has started to wear off after 7-8 laps. Costa still leads this race on the medium compound tyres. He's got a soft runner, Piero behind. Bonnie will now under pressure from race rival Dan Schneider. Camera Kaboom on the mediums doing well to keep up with those guys despite the mistake earlier on, down towards turn 1. Ted and Bomber taking up the back of the grid in 10th and 11th place respectively. Piero wide in towards the final proper corner. That's going to lose him a lot of time to Bonnieville and Dan Schneider. Down towards turn 1, the start finish straight. Piero now under pressure from Bonnieville, right on board with the BMW, who gives a little bit of a bump job to the McLaren. That's going to compromise the Genesis in this fight against Dan Schneider as the track becomes a little bit overcast. Here on lap 19 of 35, just over halfway through this amazing race. Dan Schneider wide on the exit of turn 3. That's not going to help him in his fight for the lead of this race. And picks up a 1 second time penalty. The track limits are really harsh at this circuit. You'll see it later on in the race. I made a mistake. I lost 2 seconds and got a 3 second time penalty for it. Yes, that is right. And some people say that the F1 track limits are a little bit cuckoo. Costa still with the lead in this race, ahead of Piero in second, Bonnieville in third, Dan Schneider in fourth. He's going to lose himself about 2 seconds, serving the 1 second time penalty. Cameron Kaboom in fifth, with Finn in sixth, Toussaint in seventh, Anati in eighth, Tiger in ninth, Ted in 10th, and Yeah Right in 11th place. Dan Schneider and Wolfie have unfortunately disconnected during this race. And Piero, Cameron Kaboom, Dan Schneider, all into the pits at the end of lap 19. It looks like it could be a 3-stop for these guys, using the soft compound tyres, pitting at the end of lap 19. Promotes Toussaint up into fourth, Finn up into third. .16 laps to go here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, round 9 of the GT7 Championship, and it is Costa who continues to lead this race on medium compound tyres. He's pitted once in this race, start on the medium, still needs to use another tyre compound to compute with the mandatory tyres, as Bonnieville in second place has used 2 different tyre compounds, so he's effectively got a free choice of tyre for the final stint. Finn in third place with Toussaint in fourth on the hard compound tyres. Could finish this race on a set of the mediums or the soft, depending on how far they take it. Nat in fifth and Tiger in sixth, keeping with the BMW. Likes a bit of sideways action in this car. Yeah, we're at that stage of the race. Hello, welcome to everyone tuning in. You join us on lap 21 of 35. Here is Interlagos. We've got a car coming into the pit. It's X-G in the BMW from the medium compound tyres. Let's wait and see what tyre he goes on to finish the end of this race. But we're kind of at that phase where we're merging between the 2 and the 3 stoppers who are making their pit stops So all the cars are distributed out on the circuit. There's no one really close to each other for battles, but we will get to that stage at the end of the race where everyone's on different tyre compounds. We've got the hard runners towards the front, we're going to have medium runners behind them, hunting them down, and the three stoppers converging on the two stoppers as Costa is close to puncture territory. The front right is screaming for him to pit this lap, and I think we might see the Mustang coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Maybe Finn might be in as well, off of the medium compound, putting on either another medium or going soft, or maybe even a hard. We just don't know. Ted up into 6th place on the medium compound tyres, with Dan Snyder closely behind him in 7th place. Piero in 9th, with Natty going onto the hard compound tyres ahead of Wright. It's crucial that he's got out ahead of the Porsche, now with a bit of clean air in front. The Mustang, Costa into the pits, and his teammate Finn follows him in. Two states staying out on the hard compound tyres, still got a little bit of life left in those tyres to give, as well as the race leader Bod Evil, who started on pole position and is looking to try and convert from pole to the win. Only one driver's done that so far this season. Dan Snyder at Dragon Trail Seaside at round number 7, the only driver to start on pole and win the race. It's soft for Costa, so it's a 3-stop for the Mustang. He's come out in a little bit of traffic behind Dan Snyder, side by side with Ted. The Subaru just backing off, doesn't want to pick unnecessary fights. Looks like he's trying to something different, staying out on medium compound tyres. He may be trying to go for an aggressive 2-stop, medium, soft potentially. If that does work, then fair play. Bomber on the mediums, staying with Natty on the fresh hard compound tyres. The BMW rocking the 3 colours of Brazil on both the front and back of the car, as well as the 2 additions to the side, the green, yellow and blue stripe on the front and back, as well as the green and yellow addition to the side of the default white, black, red and blue. Closest cars on track are Piero and Cameron Cabrera, and they're that close that they're going side by side down the start-finish straight. Hello, welcome to everyone joining us in the chat. Piero and Cameron now side by side, door-to-door down the start-finish straight, across the line to start lap 23 of 35. Piero with the inside line gets the move done up into 7th place, and on the fresh soft compound tyres ahead of the fresh medium runner that is Cameron Cabrera. Piero going for 2 sets of soft, maybe finish the place on the medium compound tyres. Maybe even go for another set of softs. We'll just have to wait and see. Only time will tell. Look at that. BMW drifting its way through turn 2 and 3. Sideways action, which has basically been the majority of my stint on this hard compound tyre. Tiger now under pressure on Dan Snyder. It's soft versus hard, and that was close on riding the board in the cockpit cab. Dan Snyder now trying to go for a move in towards turn 11. Gets the move done. Up into 3rd place onto the podium for Dan Snyder ahead of Tiger Assassin, the BWT Mercedes ahead of the BCMR Mercedes. Tiger might try and fight this one back to hold him up a little bit, to give Zav a little bit of breathing space in this race. Side by side is going for it to the outside. Dan Snyder going defensive to the inside, down towards turn 1. Can he make the move, stick around the outside? It's going to be a tough ask on the hards. Not on this occasion. Tiger Assassin put up as much of a fight as he could, but Dan goes by, and now he's got to try and defend from Costa on the soft compound tyres. Riding on board, cockpit cam action in the Mustang, gets alongside the Mercedes, and this could be an easy move. Late on the brakes and up into 4th place. Tiger leading with 2 cars, 2 positions in a couple of corners. There it is, there's the first mistake, but there's the 1.5 second time penalty for losing time. I think the second one is due soon, so we'll just keep an eye on this. The BMW down towards turn 4. Goes a little bit deep onto the AstroTurf, onto the curb, onto the grass. Goes nice and wide. Look at the time that we do lose to, yeah, right, up the hill in towards turn 6, 3, 2, 1. Snap of the fingers, and there it is. A 1.5 second time penalty to bring the total up to 3. Story of my life. Anyone new watching who's unfamiliar with our GT7 League format as of late, this is actually a race replay, if you're wondering how I knew that. As Ted lets Finn go by. Finn is on the soft, so it might have been a legitimate overtake, maybe a mistake from Ted as well. Finn up into 8th place, but yeah, this is a race replay because I'm in 11th place at the minute. Not a great race so far, but we do make positions later up, I think, I hope. I don't know, wait and see. Well, I do know because I was racing yesterday, but yeah. So yeah, all these races have been pre-recorded. They were raced on the Friday, and we stream them on the Saturday because we do not have a commentator, and also means we can get more drivers on the grid, so the commentator spot is not holding back anyone who wants to race. Speaking of racing, got a race on our hands for 3rd place with Dan Schneider under pressure from Costa in 4th place. These two catching up to Toussaint, who's on the hard compound tyres, running in 2nd place. The BCR Mercedes running the special Brazilian shadow-themed livery for this week, and I believe it's a livery that's only here for this week and not going to stay for us for the final 2 races of the season, which take place in America, Watkins Glen and Daytona, for the final 2 races of the of season 1 on GT7, season 6 in Gran Turismo. Side by side now between the 2 Mercedes, Dan Schneider and Toussaint going wheel to wheel in the run down towards turn 1, but I don't think Toussaint can fight this too much on the hard compound tyres. Costa might be able to pick up a position in this race. The soft much superior to the hard compound tyres, as Bonnie was into the pits from the lead of the race, promotes Dan Schneider up into the lead, and Costa's going to follow him through up into 2nd place alongside the Mercedes, and gets the move down up into 2nd place. Toussaint unable to fight it on the hard compound tyres, and will try and stick with these guys, maybe even react to Bonnie, who's gone out on a set of the medium compound tyres. Natty now on the hards, ahead of Tiger Assassin on the mediums. That 3 second time penalty really costing the BMW driver a lot of time, because not only do you have to slow down for 3 seconds, but you lose the momentum from the final corner. Ted not pitting despite the puncture to the front right tyre. We'll be losing a lot of time to Bon Evil behind and the cars around him, but the battle for the lead is now on between Costa and Dan Schneider, or the battle for the lead on track. Who's actually leading this race? Well, it is Dan Schneider, but in terms of when all the drivers have made their pit stops, it is unclear to me as of yet. Are we going to see any pit stops this lap? Not from Dan, not from Costa, not from Toussaint. So the top 3 all staying out throughout that window where mediums can go to the end. These drivers may be trying to stretch it to take the soft, the quicker red striped tyre, try and take that tyre to the end rather than the slower medium compound tyre. And thank you to everyone who is tuning in and watching. Tiger now ahead of the best F2 driver, Marcus Armstrong. He's got a seat in IndyCar next season. I don't have a seat in IndyCar next season, but Mr. Armstrong does. Ted into the pits off the mediums. Will go onto a set of the softs or the hards to finish his race to abide by the tyre rules. Goes into a set of the soft compound tyres. As Costa in the lead of this race, ahead of Dan Schneider. It's the Mustang that leads the Mercedes in this race. Both drivers need to make another stop in this race, otherwise their tyres are going to be mucking by the end. I think we're going to see Dan Schreider into the pits this lap. Is Costa going to pit this lap? It looks like Costa's going to stay out with the tyres he's still got. Dan Schneider into the pits. This will probably be for a set of the soft compound tyres, I'd imagine. They might be able to go to the end if he's done this many laps on the softs. So he's staying in from the hards, Pierre in from the soft, so it looks like it's going to be soft to the end for those guys. Finn staying out, Costa staying out, Cameron Boone also staying out and doesn't have a lot of fuel left in the tank. Meanwhile, on the medium tyres, Bonnie will make his way down the start-finish straight from the 7th place up to 4th as he overtakes the 3 drivers sat in the pit lane. I think we'll see Costa in this lap, if not this lap, the next. Looks like a little mistake from Cameron Kabim, a big mistake from Cameron Kabim. He's round and he's in the wall. He's facing the wrong way. And it's something quite often with Cameron Kabim that we've seen this season. Not the first time that he's made a mistake. Well, it's the first time this race weekend, but it's not the first time that he's made a mistake this season. We've had a few like that, pushing too hard it seems. And there it is, he's in the wall, damage to the suspension and the front bumper. And that is costing a position to Finn and a lot of time in this race. Possibly trying to push too hard. You can see the dents to the front bumper, the damage has repaired itself. As Costa's into the pit, I think his teammates Finn will follow him in. But it's really unfortunate for Cameron Kaboo. He'll be into the pit at the end of this lap, so otherwise he's going to run out of fuel. Indeed he does. Pulls over to the left hand side, which means Bon Evil will retake the lead of the race. But under pressure from Dan Schneider on the soft compound tyres, will be gaining on the leader. Let me know in the chat who you think is going to win the race, Bon Evil or Dan Schneider. Soft versus medium, the race is about to get a little bit spicy. The 2 PCR cars running 7th and 8th place will gain a few positions as cars are exiting the pit lane. This could be close between the 2 Mercedes, Piero, and the 2 FGR Mustangs going through turn 1 and turn 2. Piero making his way through turn 3 ahead of Finn. But where's Finn going to filter out? Is it just ahead of Tiger Assassin? Just ahead of the 2 Mercedes cars. In 5th place, Tiger and Toussaint in 6th and 7th. Got a little bit of work to do. It's soft tyres for Finn, it's mediums for Tiger, it's soft for Toussaint, who goes for it up the hill on his teammate. That might have been an orchestrated move, with Tiger being on the mediums and Toussaint being on the soft. We've got a race on our hands for 5th place, and we've got a race on our hands for the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. 6 laps to go when Bon Evil crosses the line as he makes his way through the final corner. But the train that formed at the start of the race, the constant battle for between the 4th and 9th place that went on for that 9 laps, it's now reformed here on lap 29. Six laps to go. Bon Evil leads the Brazilian Grand Prix after starting this race on pole position. Dan Schneider, he's led a fair few laps as well as Costa. The Dutchman also has the fastest lap and is going purple, so if he can keep it and improve, he'll get an extra point at the end of the race. Pierre in 4th ahead of Finn in 5th. All these drivers now on the soft compound tyres fighting for 4th place. Piero in 4th place. He's on the soft. All these drivers with fairly even amount of tyre left. I've obviously been on the medium tyres, pitted early off the hards. He's come up behind this battle. We've got Natty on the hards, so he won't be gaining on the cars in front. He's been on those hards for about about 10 laps. But this is where the racing action really starts to kick off, with all the drivers ending the race on similar or even different strategies without them having to make another pit stop. Finn versus Toussaint for 5th place, crucial points in this championship fight. And with only 2 races to go after this one, every point counts. Finn's able to stay ahead for now. Dan Schneider in 2nd place, hunting down Bonnieville. The gap is coming down to 1 minute 29.1 for Dan Schneider, a 1 minute 30.7 for Bonnieville. Dan Schneider, the fastest man on circuit. Out things down, he's got the fastest lap of the race to his name as well. Meanwhile in the midfield we've got Finn and Toussaint fighting for 5th place. Toussaint's not finished lower than 5th place in the championship so far. Currently running in 6th place as things stand. Looks like 5th place is a realistic target, unless he can get past Finn and catch up to Piero. Piero's doing well to try and pull away from these two for his race and his hunt for the podium. Crosses there, going through turns 1 and 2 now. Here goes Toussaint trying to go for a move on Finn. The Mustang really good in the straight line. It seems now after the BOP update, looks like the Mustang's got a little bit more straight line speed compared to the Mercedes, and it keeps itself ahead here on lap 32 of 35. Only 4 laps to go here at Interlagos, round 9 of season 1. Cameron Boone gets ahead of the BMW. Massey now positioned below where he started. As Dan Schneider's caught up to the back of Bonnieville in the battle for the lead of the race. On the soft compound tyres compared to Bonnieville's mediums. Needs to get ahead and use the advantage of those soft compound tyres before they go off, before the mediums come back into play. But right now the soft tyres have the advantage over those mediums. But here we go, on lap 33, 3 laps to go. The fight for the lead of the race. Dan Schneider to the outside at turn 1. Bonnieville defends well to the inside at turn 2, but Dan's going to set himself up in towards turn 3 for turn 4. What about Toussaint? Can he try and find something on Finn? Not on this occasion, but having taken a nicer wider line, Dan Schneider's now in the slipstream of Bonnieville, pulls over to the right hand side of the circuit, side by side, in towards turn 4. The Mercedes forced off the track, onto the gravel, and he's run wide onto the AstroTurf. And that's cost him a lot of time. Does he get a penalty? He does. He joins the penalty club with myself, and he's got a 1 second time penalty after being forced onto the curb, and when shot on that curb there's no going off it. And when you rejoin the circuit, no matter how much time you lose, you're going to get a penalty, and that is going to be so costly at the end of this race. Finn drifting through turn 6, through turn 8. Toussaint trying to get round the outside of the Mustang. Contact made between the two drivers, now in towards turn 10. Finn with a little wider outside line will try and cut back down towards turn 10. Left-hander at turn 11. Toussaint now up into 5th place, ahead of the Mustang. Downside slows down to serve the 1 second time penalty, probably loses an extra second in the process. Look how far ahead Bonnieville is as he starts the penultimate lap of the race. Meanwhile, Toussaint and Finn side by side, wheel to wheel, as they cross the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. The battle for 5th place. This is a crucial point for the championship. Contact going in towards turn 1. Toussaint with the inside. Finn tries to go switcheroo, takes a different line to the Mercedes. Will get a good run through turn 3, which leads him into the back straight, down and towards turn 4. Immediately, Toussaint pulls over to the left-hand side of the circuit to defend the inside line. But Finn's not close enough to go for it on this occasion. We'll have to sit back for now, but it doesn't look like he's going to sit back for much longer. Look at the run the Mustang's got through turn 5, up the hill, in towards 6 and 7, side by side, with 2 laps to go. These two first and second in the Drivers' Championship, 5th and 6th on the circuit. Who's going to finish on top in this particular on-track battle? As things stand, Toussaint in 5th place will be outscoring Finn, but Bonneville will be taking home 30 points if he can keep the car on the track for the final lap of the race. Toussaint's got a little bit wide. Here comes Finn in towards turn 12. Not going to go for it on this occasion. Meanwhile, Bonneville starts the final lap of the race in the lead. Started on pole. Can he win this race from pole? Toussaint still going at it with Finn down the start-finish straight. It's the final lap of the race, side by side for one last time, in towards turn 1. Toussaint's defensive into the first corner. Finn doesn't try something in towards the centre resses, but will get a good run down the back straight. Tucks into the slipstream of the Mercedes. Only a couple more overtaking opportunities left for Finn to try and get ahead of his championship rival to the outside of turn 4. Swoops around the outside of the Mercedes, who leaves him space on the outside, side by side on the exit. But Finn swoops around the outside and gets ahead of Toussaint. Crucial points in the championship. Toussaint with a puncture to the front right on the soft. His tyres have gone. His tyres have gone. He's got nothing left in the tank to try and fight this, but he's going to do his absolute best. There's a reason he is a GT Sport champion. There's a reason he's a Premier Series champion. And there's a reason he's leading this championship. He'll try and fight his way back, even with no rubber left on the front right. Meanwhile, after starting this race on pole position, hasn't won a race thus far this season. So far, he's been on the podium 3 times, make it 4 from pole position. Bonneville wins here in Interlagos and takes home 30 points in the crucial championship fight. Dan Snyder in 2nd place, and Finn Acosta, on his return, beats his teammate for the first time this season, and on his return, finishes on the podium. Pierre in 4th, Finn in 5th, Toussaint in 6th, and something that I'll have to turn my attention to is that we'll go back to the results. But in 9th place, can Ted get Natty on the exit? It's a big moment, it's a big tank stopper, and it's a big crash at the end of the race. The BMW in the barrier rejoins the circuit in a cloud of smoke with a 1 second time penalty to his name, and an absolute disaster. Ted with a different strategy, 2 punctures to cross the line in 9th, and a Pierre Wright in 10th. And we don't need to watch me cross the line in 11th. Back to the grid though, Toussaint in 6th, just about being outbeaten by Finn in 5th. Tiger and Sasson in 7th place ahead of Cameron Kaboom in 8th, Ted in 9th, Wright in 10th, and myself in 11th. What a race, a crazy race, an absolute crazy race. A little bit of lots of action at the start, lots of action at the end. It's exactly what you want to see. And this is the car that won. It's a Genesis on the top step of the podium who wins here in Brazil, and Bonneville takes his first win of the season. Well, what has that done in terms of the championship? Bonneville moves up into 2nd place, 5 points ahead of Finn, 24 points behind Toussaint, who had his worst finish of the season so far in 6th place. Join us next week for Watkins Glen, the penultimate round of the GT7 Championship, round number 10 of 11. And things are about to get interesting. The championship can be wrapped up next week by Toussaint if he outscores Boneville by 8 points. And I hope you guys enjoyed this race. Welcome, King John. Don't know where I got Jing from. I was reading GG. That's what it was. But easy mistakes. Yes, Boneville now 24 points behind Toussaint, 5 points ahead of Finn. It's all to play for, and we go for a double header in America for the final 2 races of the season. Someone's just sent me a message saying they want to see the final lap crash again, so we will go back. How are you doing? I'm doing good, thanks. How about you? How are you doing? I hope you are having a wonderful day. If someone wants to see this, so we'll see it again to round out the stream. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed 35 laps of Interlagos. Join us next week for 34 laps of Watkins Glen, where the championship can be wrapped up. And yeah, that is a crazy end to the race. Head up into 9th place. Natty at the back, where he belongs. See you guys next time. Goodbye.